Hey guys, welcome. Hopefully you've clicked on the audio and you know that that's a thing and that you'll be able to follow along with us by clicking on that audio, and now you can talk. Today we're going to be talking about pre-listing packet tips and strategies, ultimately to help you guys with a couple of objectives. But before we get started today, I wanted to take a quick poll, Gary, if we could pop that bad boy up. Gary and I are going to customize today's presentation based on what you tell us is most important to you. So just use the poll feature and let us know whether or not you want to, if what's most important to you today is that you want more listing leads and appointments for now, or in the near future as things start to open up, or perhaps too you'd like to be known as a listing expert agent in your market. And if that's something that's important to you, let us know through the poll. And then the last one is if you could use a boost in confidence for your next listing appointment. Just let us know which one of these three things is most important to you. We're going to touch on all of these things because our goal today is to help you create a powerful pre-listing packet to get you recognized as a listing expert. I think my biggest question is, Gary, how much time do we spend on the whole, how do we get listing opportunities and the marketing to do so? So,
well, we've got about 200 responses so far, which means that about half of the people here have responded. So head on over there. Let us know which one is most important to you in the chat feature. Don't go. I'm in the poll feature. Don't go to the chat and type it in because it won't help us. Queue those. Okay.
So I think while they're doing that, Gary, we can take just a quick moment to introduce who we are. My name's Chris Scott. I am a real estate digital marketer, and you'll find me doing all of the marketing for our real estate practice here in Austin, Texas. That's Creth Partners, and I work with Gary. I'm responsible for like the lead generation and the marketing stuff and all the marketing tech stuff that we do in our real estate practice. And I take the stuff that I've learned and I share that with all of you through the Paperless Agent. And when I'm not doing that, I'll be hanging with my family. You see, there's my wife. Gary, did you know this year we'll be married 15 years?
You told me that last week. Congratulations, man.
Yeah, this summer, actually, in July. And there's our 4 kids and the 4 children. Oops, I don't know. That kind of got moved around by accident. There's the 4 kids. Actually, that's my grandmother there, and that's a trip that we took to Japan about 2 years ago. So that's a little bit about me, Gary. You want to introduce, because we're actually mostly going to be learning about you because you are the listing expert agent. So why don't you let everybody know who you are?
Sure. So my name is Gary Creth. I've been selling real estate in Austin for about 23 years. There I am pictured with my brother, Jonathan. Jonathan is our partner at Creth Partners in real estate. And I've been a listing expert agent for 23 years, really focused on that. And at the height of my career, before Chris and I partnered up here at Paperless Agent, I was going on about 6 listing appointments every single week and carrying about 50 active or pending listings at a time. And the reason that I say that is it's really, really important to have processes in place to be able to generate those leads, but also to take care of your customers and excel at differentiating yourself against everybody else in the marketplace. Because I could not have done that had I not done what we're going to talk about today. And Chris, with that, I'd love to share the results of the poll.
Let's do it. Okay. What does everybody want to learn today?
56% want more listing leads and appointments. 29% want to be known as a listing expert agent, and 15% could use a boost in confidence.
Excellent. Well, here's the good news, Gary. Here's how we've organized this talk. We're going to cover the 3-piece pre-listing packet, or the 3-part pre-listing packet. And that's really going to help you do a couple of things. That's really going to help you stand out. It's really going to help you get recognized as that listing expert agent. We're going to share with you some specific templates that you can utilize to crush the competition, which, when you think of it from a listing perspective and being a listing expert agent, Gary, as a listing expert, and really when you focus on listings, that's the part of the real estate practice where we start to consider market share and things of that nature, right? We don't really think about that so much with buyers, but we definitely consider that as part of being a listing expert agent. So when you're dealing with things like market share, all of a sudden competition becomes a thing that we have to address. And so we're going to talk about that and how we stand out. And then the final portion, it looks like most people are interested in definitely spending some time talking about what do we do from a marketing perspective. I'm going to share with you guys a marketing calendar that you can use to get more listings, as well as a real simple 5-step real estate marketing system that you can implement that marketing calendar with. And without further ado, let's just dive right in. Actually, I got one more poll, Gary, because we are going to kick this off talking about pre-listing packets. And so I'm curious, just let me know, let Gary and I know how many of you guys are using a pre-listing packet. We have a 3-part pre-listing packet, and we actually use an email now. Gary, you started using a pre-listing packet early on? Why did you start doing it?
Well, so what I noticed, Chris, is that I would go on a listing appointment and we'd spend 90 minutes like talking, getting to know each other, going through marketing plan, etc. I would actually have to come back for a second listing appointment to go over the paperwork and get everything signed and actually get them convinced to list with me. And I just looked at that. I'm like, man, that takes so much time. And so I thought, how can I cut some corners here? And what I did is I started creating pre-listing packets, and I would print them and I would hand deliver them to the house at least 24 hours before my listing appointment. And I did that initially just to reduce the amount of appointments I needed to go on before I got a signed listing agreement. Here's what actually happened as a byproduct is it crushed the competition. It did several things. Number one is it set me apart from the competition. It showed me as an expert. And it prepared my clients to meet with me to where now when I go on listing appointments by using the pre-listing packet, they're more educated about what we do that differentiates me from everybody else. I get them to do some work for me, and it builds trust. So I walk in the door and they're almost ready to sign the listing agreement at that point. And so that's why I started using it. And now more than ever, Chris, you want to talk about taking market share, especially as we boomerang or slingshot out of this current situation. If you want to come out on top and really have that trust, this is huge. This is what I'd be doing like crazy. And by the way, I just want to let you know, Chris, 66% of our students here today are not using a pre-listing packet yet.
Okay. Well, and for those of you who are using one, hopefully you'll pick up a few new ideas to improve the one that you have. Gary, you said something that's really, I think, key when it comes to using a pre-listing packet, and that's about building trust. And so if we want to get recognized as a listing expert agent, and ultimately if we want to get referred and recommended more as a listing agent, people have to trust us to do that very thing. Now, I know you guys can't read this email. Don't worry. I'm going to blow it up and you're going to be able to see exactly the words. And I'll even take the time to read the whole thing in the different parts. I just wanted to address like the high level. What are the 3 parts of the pre-listing packet or the pre-listing packet email? The reason why we use email is because we can link different forms of media to the pre-listing packet. Whereas if we were going to do a physical one, I'd have to like mail a VHS tape for some of this stuff. So anyway, we can use more innovative and creative methods of marketing and being just not even marketing, but just being able to communicate more effectively. And so we have things in there, what we call confidence links, right? Confidence links are that it's information that we share that is specifically designed to build someone's confidence in us, right? Build their confidence or trust in us as we prepare to work with them. We also have a section on property marketing, and we'll get into why property marketing why we've chosen to use property marketing and the information that we share as a result, and why we have found it to be so effective. And then the last part of this pre-listing packet email is seller homework. Now, I'm going to go through like in great detail. We're going to go through each one of these sections. We'll read it. I'll even like hit on what some of the alternatives might be, right? This is the packet that we use, but there's always variations, right? There's not like a single, this is exactly the way it has to be done. You might review this and say, you know what? I like that. I'm going to add that, or I'm not going to do that. And I'll even share with you a few variations. I'm going to share with you though, also what we do, because that is oftentimes a good source of inspiration to be able to pick some, in trying to implement something. So confidence links and standing out as a listing expert agent. So the first thing I want to do, Gary, is I'm going to zoom in on the email.
Cool.
We're going to look at the very first section, and perhaps we could, you know what? Why don't you read this first section, and then we'll talk about it. And then I mentioned that this part is about the confidence links. I'm going to even show them what this email links to, and so they have a full sense of like, this is exactly what we're doing.
Okay. Now, as we start this, I do want to point out that the subject line of this email is really, really important. It is actions required before our appointment on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Chris, as a reminder, our appointment is this Friday at 6 p.m. Before we meet, please complete these 3 simple activities to make the most of our time together. Watch these videos. Please take 10 minutes to watch these short videos on getting ready to sell your home. Spending 10 minutes now saves us 45 minutes later. So here's one thing I really want to point out is anytime you ask a potential customer to do anything, you need to let them know what's in it for them. Because if you just said, hey, take 10 minutes to watch these videos, they'll be like, why? Mm-hmm. And then you say, well, spending 10 minutes now saves us 45 minutes later. It's like, oh, that is like the trigger and that call to action that will make them actually do what you want them to do.
And what we've done is we link to some videos that we have on YouTube, right? And I'm going to actually play a portion of this specific video that I've got teed up. But one of the things that you'll notice is the different titles of the videos apply to the selling situation, right? How to market your home in the Austin real estate market. We have Austin market because we sell real estate in Austin. How to get your Austin home ready for sale, home pricing strategies. So each one of these are videos related to that topic to prepare them for the conversation. Now, what you're going to see, and as I tee up the video, is there's a few things that are happening because of the fact that we're using video, and we'll talk about that after the fact, right? I'm just going to play a portion. It's kind of a long video, so I'm not going to play the whole thing, Gary. I think I'll play maybe a minute or so of it, just to give everybody an impression of this is what we're doing. Now, I'll also share the alternatives because some of you might look at this video and be like, oh, I'm just not ready for that. And that's okay. There's lots of easier alternatives. I'm just going to share you what we're doing and hopefully give you something to aspire to. So let me see here. It is this particular video right here. And I'm going to tee that up and let's take a look and then we'll chat about it after the fact.
Chris Scott. And I'm Gary Kreth of Kreth and Scott Homes. And today we're here to answer the question, what are you going to do to attract buyers to my home?
Well, Gary, that's an excellent question because there's the way people used to do it, and then there's the way we do it today. Mm-hmm. So in the old days of selling real estate, and I joke around by saying in the old days of selling real estate, but in the old days, people, real estate professionals, would put a sign in the yard, they would put the home in the MLS, and then they would pray that it sells. Right. And so that's how we used to do it in the old days.
Well, you could get away with it then, but times they have changed. So, Chris, what is critical now to attract home buyers to a home?
Sure. Well, first you have to take in consideration preparation of the home, pricing strategy for the home, and here's the big kicker, promotion of the home. And so this is where.
And I think I'll pause it right there. I don't like listening to myself talk so much, Gary. So I'm just going to go ahead and stop that video. But you guys get the idea, right? Like we're sharing what we know, our expertise and our knowledge. And here
we're answering the questions, Chris, that the sellers have in their mind, but they haven't had the opportunity to ask us yet.
So remember, the purpose of the videos in this case is to build confidence. And what better way for them to have confidence built up in us than being able to see us and being able to hear us, being able to hear from us the expertise that we have to share. And so oftentimes, when we go into that listing appointment, they've watched these videos. What do they do? They almost always say, hey, I've seen all your videos, right?
Yeah, it's so interesting because I remember, I'll never forget this one listing appointment I went on. I knock on the door and they come to the door and I say, hey, I'm Gary Kreth. And they're like, we know who you are. We've seen all your videos. We actually feel like we're meeting a celebrity right now. And at that point I was like, well, here's a listing agreement. Sign here.
Yeah, just go ahead and sign right here.
but what that does, Chris, is so many things. Is it builds so much trust with those customers. Number two is quite often, if they have appointments with other listing agents, they cancel those appointments. And then also it gives me the confidence to walk in there and not feel nervous about asking them to sign the listing agreement. It changes everything.
Yeah, the whole idea around using video to build affinity with your client, with your customer, with your prospective client, with your prospective customer, it's such an effective vehicle and it's such an effective way to build that affinity, to build up that trust. It's one of the ways they get to experience what it's like to work with us if they haven't worked with us yet, right? And that's a big that's a big factor in eliminating perceived risk, right? So what are the things that someone might perceive as a risk in hiring a real estate professional? Well, it's the trust thing. Do I trust them? Are they going to do a good job? Am I going to like them? Are they going to take care of me? All of these things are kind of swirling around in their background of thought. And so to be able to see you, to be able to hear you, to be able to hear you giving and sharing your expertise and your advice, that goes a long way. It goes a long way in building rapport even before they've had a chance to meet you. Now, what are some alternatives to this, right? Because I know some of you might watch a video and you're like, the video that I shared, and say, gosh, I don't know if I'm ready for that. And I understand that might be something that you work towards. Here are some perfectly viable alternatives. You could share links to blog posts that you've authored, right, on that same topic. Right. So you could have a photo, and on those same 3 topics, you could just write a blog post on those things. Perhaps you're not a writer. Well, maybe then you could link to somebody else like the National Association of Realtors if they've got information, or some other credible source of information that has hit on topics that you want to share. Here's another one that can build confidence. You could link to specific reviews, right? You could link to your reviews online, because that's also going to work to build confidence. What we're trying to do is to build confidence in the viewer. So let me go ahead and let me pull the presentation back up so we can keep moving along. And so that's that first section, is just in building confidence with the viewer. We're using video, but it really leads next to the next section then, right? Because we've established, and we're trying to establish rapport. And I believe if they've watched at least a portion of the video, that's starting to happen. The next thing then is property marketing. And I like to call this an ethically sabotaging your competition. And
how does one do that, Chris?
Well, so remember in the email at the very beginning, we said that we were going to ask them to do 3 simple activities. The first one was to watch these videos, and if you're not doing videos, it might be to read these articles or to check out these reviews. Step 2 is to review the property marketing plan. So the language here is marketing your home is one of my biggest jobs, and I take it seriously. We will discuss my marketing plan for your home when we meet. And then there's a link there. And when they click on that link, it takes them to the property marketing plan. Lo and behold, there it is.
Well, and that's the whole reason we were asking everybody here is, are you currently using the pre-listing stuff that includes that property marketing plan? Chris, this property marketing plan, I just want to preface that this is probably one of the most critical aspects of my entire pre-listing email and my listing presentation that secures me more listings than anything else. You want to go through, like, what do you put in a property marketing plan?
Yeah, sure. So really, whatever you do to market the home. I mean, that's, the way I did it was I sat down and I said, all right, what is it that we do? And actually, to be honest, the original version of this came as a result, not because we were thinking ahead or trying to be real smart about how we did our real estate practice. What happened is we had this is several years ago, and we were working expired listings at the time. And one of the folks that we contacted, by the way, we don't really work expired listings anymore, but at that time, several years ago, we were. And one of the folks that I was working with in our firm, she was on the phone, and I was walking to go to the bathroom of all places in the office. And she literally just took the phone, and she was like, she was calling on expires, and she hands me the phone. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do? She's like, I'm like, hello, and it was a gentleman who she was talking to, and he was like, hey, I have some questions for you. And I was like, okay, yeah, what are the questions that you have for me? Like, straight up, just hand me a phone. And all of a sudden there's this guy talking to me, and he was like, hey, I want to know what it is that you do to market real estate. And I said, well, this is what we do, this, and we do that, and we do this. And he was like, great, do you have a marketing plan? And I was like, well, I mean, yeah, we have a marketing plan. Like, in my head, I didn't know he meant like, in person. Like, he was like,
documented.
Yeah, he was like, well, send it over. And I was like, well, I'll tell you what, I'll send it over to you. I've been actually, I'm in the middle of doing stuff right now, but I'll send it over to you later today. And then he was like, very good, I'll be there tomorrow at 10 o'clock. And we're like, okay. So I sent him I crash course built a property marketing plan, sent it over to him because I knew we were going to have an appointment with him at 10 o'clock the next day. And sure enough, I sent it over to him. He showed up. He said, everything in this plan looks good. You're hired. And that was it. I was surprised. I thought it was going to be a really difficult situation, but all I did is I took the time to list out everything that we do. And over time it's evolved, right? So that was several years ago. It's evolved now into what we do today. And ultimately it's just, the way I fashioned the one that we have today is more like, hey, this is a marketing proposal in a sense. This is what, if you were to hire a PR firm to market your firm, this is the type of stuff that they would put in there as a marketer. I check these different things out. And so, but it really just comes down to what are you going to do and when are you going to do it? And so,
Chris, I just have to stop and share. Bettina Robson just commented, but if we send out the marketing plan, then we actually have to do what's on it. That is a consequence of actually.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about this that makes it really powerful, though, is ultimately one of the things that we have to do in real estate. And this is not just real estate. This is all businesses, all self-employed people, everyone who's in professional services. But we have to give clients, customers, prospects, we actually have to give them a reason to hire us instead of somebody else, right? And if we're not giving them a reason, and what is that? The reason is that distinct value proposition. The reason they hire us instead of somebody else, that is a thing that we need to do. When we don't, they decide on like convenience, they decide on price, right? Like it's just not controlled, right? We're not able to influence people and give them a superior reason. One of the things that we work to produce as a distinct advantage is superior trust, right? So using tools like a property marketing plan and saying, this is what we're going to do, knowing other people won't, all of a sudden that is, right? That is a distinct advantage that they can point to and say, you know what? Gary and Chris, they're going to do this. So now all of a sudden I've just given them a reason to hire us. In fact, by sharing this in advance, and the reason why we joke around and say that this is, sabotaging the competition is that it resets the standard and expectation for that prospective client on what they should expect from other people that they're talking to, right? Or other people that they might consider. Because if we send them a property marketing plan and somebody else doesn't, they're left that now they might not say to the other person, where's your property marketing plan? But it's just going to leave that impression like, hey, these guys are legit. These guys are pros, right?
Well, and the whole time, Chris, they're sitting there asking themselves, why aren't they sharing their property marketing plan with me? Gary sent me his. We reviewed his. They must not do anything to market a home. And so that's the critical aspect there.
Well, that's the other thing too. Remember that time like Gary lost a listing from somebody he should not have lost a listing from, and it was only because you didn't reveal certain information, right?
He was a very, very good friend of mine, and so he actually called me over to find out what he needed to do to prepare his house for the market. And so I just walked over there, and I'm like, "Hey, Josh?" I said, "Hey, Josh, how you doing? This is what I think you and Heather need to do. Blah blah blah. And hey, you want to go on the boat?" And literally, that's what happened. And so I went to his house the next week to play poker, and another realtor sign was in the yard. And I'm like, what gives? He's like, oh, I hired this neighborhood specialist because they're doing this, 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 and this, and they're marketing it online and all these websites. And I'm like, dude, I do that too. That's what I do. And he said, well, I didn't know.
Yeah.
And literally, it came down to the fact that I did not share my property marketing plan. I lost a $485,000 listing like that. It was gone.
Well, and then conversely, you've used this tool, right? On the flip side, once we had this in place and you're able to send it out, you've used this to beat out several other agents on a coveted listing. Can you tell everybody that story?
So I went to this listing appointment. It was $1 million listing in a downtown urban core of Austin. And it's a beautiful modern home. I wanted this listing. I asked them when I got there, I said, well, so, how many other agents have you guys been interviewing? And they said 7. And I said, great. I was like, great.
That's a lot of other.
Okay, you guys are spending a lot of time here. I said, great. Who are they? I might know some of them. They went down like the list of the best listing agents in town. And I was like, oh, and I start sweating, right? But here's what happens. as we get into the kitchen area to sit down at their kitchen table, I saw our property marketing plan printed out on the table right there. And when I saw that, my confidence went through the roof.
Mm.
And they said, I said, wow, you printed this out. And they said, yeah, this is why we're going to hire you. And I'm like, what? Like, we haven't even gotten into the listing appointment and the presentation, nothing. And they said, yeah, we're going to hire you because you have an awesome marketing plan. And none of the other 7 realtors that we interviewed have a property marketing plan. The listing's yours if you want it. And I was like, yeah, I want this. But literally, this is what helps me. And that's what I was saying earlier, is this is what helps me differentiate myself so much from the competition and stand out and like Chris is saying, ethically sabotage the competition. Because when you actually, by the way, do all of those other realtors do everything in this listing, in this property marketing plan? Probably. But they didn't.
Not all of them. There's no way.
Probably not all of it, but they didn't tell them.
Yeah.
You know, the competition would have been much more difficult had they shared a property marketing plan, and they didn't, and they still don't today.
So a good question is from I think Jesse was saying, hey, do you send the pre-listing packet immediately once the appointment is set, or do you wait? So can you kind of share with everybody the timing from
Sure.
when do we send the pre-listing packet as part of your listing process?
So I have my initial phone consultation, and that takes about 45 minutes to an hour. And then almost immediately afterwards, it's that same day, not only have we scheduled the appointment for sometime in the future, at least 24 hours in the future, but I send this pre-listing packet email to them immediately because I want them to have enough time to watch the videos, to download and view the property marketing plan. And also, we're going to get to this in a minute, to do homework. And so I want them to have as much time to do that. And I also want them to have as much time to cancel appointments with other realtors, right? So let's just get it out there.
All right. So that leads us to the next part, the third part, which is the seller homework and the time spent principle. And I think what we'll do, Gary, is we'll zoom back in on the email here, that pre-listing packet email. And if you want to read those things, then we can chat about them with everybody.
Yeah. So number 3 is homework. Homework number 1. Please reply to this email sharing your home's best features, improvements, and selling points. I will use this to create compelling marketing to attract buyers. Homework number 2. Please reach out to your lender to get the current loan balance. We will use this information to calculate what you'll net from your home sale after we assess your home's pricing strategy. If you have any questions prior to our appointment, please let me know. Thanks. P.S. This is a reminder, right? We've already asked them to check it out, but this is a reminder. P.S. Check out the property marketing plan I will use to attract buyers and sell homes for well above the competition's average performance. And feel free to share it with anyone you personally think personally thinking of moving. And so, Chris, why is that PS so critical? And well, I think we should talk about 2 things. Number 1 is why homework, and why the PS.
Yes. Well, the PS is a simple one. It might be the only thing they read in the email. Like the fact of the matter is people are busy. Now, they might have more time these days to read through it and do all the things that we've asked. But if they only did one thing out of the whole thing, and it was just to check out that property marketing plan, we'll have done a huge service to them and to us. But in being able to communicate our distinct value proposition, meaning that if they will check out that property marketing plan, I've given them a reason to hire us instead of somebody else. Now, the homework piece is another aspect, Gary, that you taught me about the idea of time spent, right? So we're going to actually ask them to do something on our behalf collaboratively, but why would we risk asking them to do something for us?
So the concept of time spent is if I can get them to spend time doing specific tasks that are targeted to our appointment, they are much less likely to want to do that for another agent, which means that they are much less likely to interview other agents. So if I can have them spend time working on stuff for us together, then what happens in their brain is it already starts triggering that it's almost like a predetermined notion that they're going to hire me because they're already working with me.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm actually going to answer a quick question. So it looks like we have a lot of people who are members of our club. And I think I saw Barb was asking. And so if you're a member of our club, this entire template, all these templates that I've shared, you can log into the members area of the club and search for these different templates, right? So you can search for pre-listing packet, you can search for property marketing plans and all that kind of stuff. And a lot of these resources are available to you if you're in our club. And so that is the 3-part pre-listing packet. Right. So we covered the confidence links. We covered the property marketing. We covered the seller homework. And now we've sent that out. Right. And then next job is we'll show up to the appointment and do our listing appointment. Now, I promised that we would share with you some marketing to be able to generate more of those listing opportunities. And ultimately, I want to be able to give you a marketing calendar. And so I want to cover the slingshot marketing for listings and appointments. I titled this marketing Slingshot because I believe that this is going to assist in helping you rev up the opportunities that you're going to produce, regardless of the situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of the situation, there's marketing that we can do. There's engagement that we can do as long as we're following the right type of plan. And I wanted to share with you the plan that we're currently using. Before I do that, I want to get into I'm not sure exactly what to call this, but like these are really 5 important aspects to marketing right now, right? We're in interesting times, right? And so the marketing that we're going to do, we have to be careful, I guess is the best way I could say it, is just be careful in what we're doing. We don't want to be tone deaf. We don't want to be considered out of touch with what's really going on, right? And so there's 5 parts to the marketing that you're doing or that you should be doing and that I wanted to walk you through before I get into the actual marketing calendar. The first thing we've got to do is we got to be present. Now's not a time. And to be honest with you, it's never a time to be the secret agent, right? It's always a time to be out there. But ultimately your message really matters. The messages that we share and as we're being present, we want to make sure that that we're being seen as somebody who is reliable, that somebody that's a trusty brand, right? Somebody that they can trust and rely on, somebody that they have confidence in. And one of the easiest ways to be able to convey that message is for you to provide relevant value, right? So when you focus on providing relevant value, then all of a sudden, you are being present. The message is the right message because you're making yourself of service and you're providing value. It shows people that you care, right? That's another part. People ultimately, we all want to believe that the companies and the people that we work with care more about us than they do our wallets. That's just like a fundamental human thing about it. We all feel this way. We want to know that if things really came down to it, that we care about them more than we care about the transaction they represent.
It's like, if you think about somebody who's just after what's in your wallet, it's like a used car salesperson, they don't ask you what you're really looking for. They're like, oh, I got a car for you. Let me try and shove this down your throat. And that's not who we need to be ever, especially now.
Right. And so one of the ways, right, by providing value, it does show that you care, and you can really amplify showing people that we care by contacting people personally. Now I'm going to give you, like I said, a marketing calendar and 5 simple steps, and even share with you some tools to make all of this a heck of a lot easier, including personal contact. In the old days, personal contact meant picking up the phone or driving to their house. And we have a lot of very effective tools these days as a result of smartphones and social media and messaging that we can use. So let me walk you through our 5-step real estate marketing system. I'm going to walk you through these 5 steps because these are the 5 steps that you use to implement our marketing calendar. Okay. The 5 steps, and I'm going to go into great detail, but the 5 steps, what they do is they represent tactics that are designed in a sequence that's directed at a source. Now, let me repeat that again, because this is important. There's a good chance you might have tried some of these things on their own. How many of you have done social media? How many of you sent emails out? How many of you tried a blog, right? Many of you likely have tried some of these things. but they were not part of a strategy. And so what makes this a strategy is the fact that there's a sequence of activities that we do, and the sequence of activities is directed at a source of business. The source of business happens to be the largest source of business according to the National Association of Realtors, and that is our contacts and connections, because our contacts and connections, they produce recommendations, referrals, people who work with us from our sphere of influence, or people who know people in our sphere of influence, repeat customers, and an increased reputation, right? And so when we use this strategy and direct it at a source, great things happen for us. It is actually way easier and a much higher quality opportunity when we'll use these strategies, when we use these tactics, like a blog, like an email, like a video, like social media, like instant messaging. When we'll use these tactics and apply it at a source, having a sequence, these good things happen for us. And like according to the National Association of Realtors, it's on average like 70, 80% of buyers and sellers, I'm averaging those numbers out, are choosing their real estate professional, and they're coming based on the contacts and connections because of being a recommendation or a referral, knowing us or being a repeat customer, or choosing us based on our reputation in the market. And so what are these 5 things that we're going to do? At a high level, that's what they are. But let's get into them in greater detail, because I want you to be able to implement this and see what each part really has to look like for you to have greater success with it. So step 1 is to publish useful real estate information. Okay. In the example you see on my screen here, it's a blog. And in this case, the blog is talking about the 20 ways to save money and stretch your household budget. Who would not be interested in stretching their household budget these days, right? Everybody's always interested in that kind of thing. So always very quite relevant. And because it's related to household budget, is kind of connected to the house, okay? So we want to publish useful real estate related information so that when people think of us, they think of real estate, and when they think of real estate, they think of us. Ultimately, the goal is not the blog or the article, right? The goal is to provide informational value and use this value as the reason for our outreach, right? So we're going to use this information, not that people are just going to all of a sudden come out of the woodwork because we've created it. No, we're going to use this as the excuse to reach out, right? And so this is the first step, though, is to have this value that we want to offer. Remember, one of the things is that we want to provide value. We want to be seen providing value. And this is a way. We have to first start with what is that value going to be? In this case, it's this useful information that's real estate related. And then we can go to the next step, which is to begin sending it out. And actually, what you're going to see is the following steps are all related to taking this value that we've created and putting it into people's hands, proactively putting it into people's hands, right? And so step 2 is we're just going to send this to everybody that we know, and in this form, and in an email, right? So what we did is we just synthesized that article, right? And then we put a link to that article in the email, and we send the email out to everybody we have an email address for, okay? Some of you might have to grab all the emails out of your phone to do that first step, but email it to everybody, clients, contacts, people in your sphere of influence. Here's the thing. You're providing value. You're not asking for business. You're not begging for business. You're focused on providing value, which means you could send it to everybody that you know that you have an email address for. And just be sure to include that link to more of that information. Now, here's the thing. You likely don't have email addresses for everybody that you know, which then leads us to the 3rd and 4th steps, which are all about utilizing social media and the tools that we have with social media to be able to communicate with folks. So step 3 is to share a 1 to 3 minute video where we're talking about the highlights from that article that we shared. Okay. All we're going to do is shoot a 1 to 3 minute video. It doesn't have to be highly produced. The one in the example you see on your screen here is Gary in his office shooting from his phone with no fancy lighting, no fancy microphone, just him, his phone, and his words. And you're just sharing and putting that on the Facebook, right? This didn't even require very much planning on your part, right?
No, it didn't. And here's why is you basically said, hey, Gary, I need a quick 1 minute video of what's going on in the marketplace. Well, here's the thing. That's my expertise, right? That's what everybody here is an expert on what's going on in your current marketplace. So All I did is I turned on I didn't script anything. I turned on the camera and I said, hey, the market's changing. What does this mean to you if you're a buyer? And what does that mean to you if you're a seller? Here are some statistics. If you want to learn more, click on the link, blah, blah, blah.
Now, why do we do video? Let me explain to you why we do video. So going to tools like Facebook or even Instagram, video is the preferred format for that the Facebook algorithm and even the Instagram algorithm likes. It's mostly because it's the most engaging format. So people like it. So therefore, the algorithm likes it. You're going to see if you're shooting video of yourself, and it doesn't have to be fancy, right? It's on social media, so it doesn't have to be highly produced. When you do videos on Facebook or Instagram, they don't have to be highly produced video. They don't have to be like the ones that we included in our pre-listing packet, for sure. This is just more off the cuff, and we're just talking about the highlights from that article, putting it onto our Facebook business page if you have one, sharing it from your business page, personal page, like I said, if you have one, and then optionally, and this is something that I do, is to promote that video using Facebook ads. Now, I only spend about $1 a day, so it's not like I'm breaking the budget, because I'm just trying to make sure that more people who are connected to us and more likely to see it. The Facebook algorithm for something like this is going to put it in front of people who are most likely to appreciate it, which is people who know us, right? People who know us are the ones who are and connected to us are the ones who are going to respond positively to a video like this. Their watch times will be higher, and therefore the algorithm will favor and identify those types of people and put it in front of more of those folks. Guys, the Facebook algorithm is very smart. If you feed it the right information, if you feed it the right content, it will do wonders for your marketing. And so we share this 1-minute video. When we boost it, we promote that using Facebook ads. Like I said, optionally, you don't have to do that. At very least, share the 1 to 3 minute video, which leads us to step 4, which is to do the traditional social media posting as well. We're going to take that content, we're going to take that information, and then we're going to share that on social media. We can repurpose this. We can actually do this. You know, if you look at the article that we shared in step 1, we only need to do that once a month. If we look at the email that we sent out with a link to the article, we only need to do that once a month. That video, you only need to do that once a month. Now, posting on social media, I would recommend doing that like once a week. But all about the same article. So you don't have to like go create a whole bunch of new stuff. We're going to use the theme of the article and even content from the article to be able to populate that social media content and posts. And again, you can put it on your business page, share it on your personal profile if you have a business page. Now, all of those steps are key to getting to the 5th and final step. All right. The 5th and final step is the one that is very important for you to show people that you care by doing the personal contact. And here's what happens if you've been doing the previous 4 steps, is that you use a tool like Facebook Messenger. You could also use a tool like Instagram direct messaging. Heck, you could use a tool like text messaging, or if you even wanted to call people, you could pick up the phone and call people. But when you're doing all of the other marketing on a regular basis, when you show up in, let's say, Facebook Messenger, and the reason why I like Facebook Messenger is that if you're connected to people on Facebook, you're automatically able to message them. That makes it really easy to connect with people, right? But here's what happens is you don't have to say anything about real estate. You see, all you have to do is say, hey, how are you doing? And then because of the other marketing that we've done, when they see you or when they think of you, they think of real estate. Just like when they think of real estate, they're going to think of you because of the preconditioning that we've done by repeating those other 4 steps consistently throughout the month and repeating that every month. All right. And so all we have to do is say, hey, how's it doing? And if there's a real estate conversation to be had, they'll bring it up. And I like using Facebook Messenger because you can pull it up on your desktop and just kind of type really quickly and then respond to people and just start engaging and having conversations with people. Gary's been doing a little innovation lately where he's actually been shooting 15-second videos and delivering them through Facebook Messenger just to be able to have a higher level of impact, right?
Gets an awesome response. Awesome response.
And so those are the 5 steps, right? So those are the 5 steps. We repeat those 5 steps every month. Now, here's the key, because I said that we have a marketing calendar. The marketing calendar is related to changing the topic or the value, the theme of the value that we provide every single month. So let's take a look at some examples of what it looks like to change the topic, and then I'll share with you a 12-month calendar. So here's an example on the 5-step strategy for downsizing your home. Again, it's real estate related. Okay. Now, it's not going to apply to all people at all times, but that's okay. It's the fact that we're using this to provide informational value. So we have a reason to do outreach. That is what we're doing, because when people see us staying in touch, providing value, that produces positive emotions, and it cultivates the sense of awareness where they think of real estate, think of us. And when they think of us, they think of real estate. So here is the article that we post on our website in the form of a blog. There's one of the social media posts. Here's another example, the home equity playbook, right? So all about home equity, which is good because these days, especially because home equity is not been eroding, even though the stock market has gone down recently, the people's equity has been intact. And so that's a good thing. So there's the article. There's the social media post. And then here's another example. We usually do this a couple times a year. The 2020 Real Estate Outlook, by the way, this was from earlier in the year. This changed dramatically in March. So we're going to probably have to do a new one here and soon, once we have a better picture of what that's going to look like. But there's the article and there's the post. And so those are the types of things that we post or that we're going to share as part of that marketing calendar and as part of that 5-step real estate marketing system. So the full marketing calendar, you can take a screenshot of this. This is what we had done. So we actually provide these marketing materials to our members who are in our club every month. And so the ones that we did are what's ahead for real estate. February was home design trends. March was what buyers will pay. We had a little shift in April on the functional spaces at home as a result of the pandemic. In May, we're doing the household budget and money saving tips. June, we've got virtual options for buyers and sellers. July is now a good time to buy or sell a home. August, the 5-step strategy for downsizing your home. September, the national housing market forecast. October is the home value calculator. November, the home equity playbook. And December, connecting with your community. And that is the marketing calendar. And so oftentimes what happens is, as a result of sharing the 5 steps in the marketing calendar, people always want to know, hey, where can I get the marketing materials so that I could do a campaign like that? So I've got a special offer I'm just going to run through before we get to the Q&A. You can get and try the marketing calendar campaigns 14 days for just $1. Right. So 14 days, only $1, and you can give a test drive of these marketing calendar campaigns and have access to them and download them and use them. And so you can get that just by test driving our club for 14 days just for $1. A marketing club, it's a membership where we provide you with the tools and resources that you need to stand out and to market yourself and to get recognized as that listing expert agent. We have lots of great things that people tell us about it. Everything, if you were a new agent like Cynthia and Lisa, who says when she was a new agent in 2013, she discovered the paperless agent. She says we're the best. She credits much of her 6-figure success to us. Well, thank you. People do say a lot of other good things. We got Teresa here saying that she wanted to say a huge thank you to our team, saying that she actually tripled her income. And we get lots of great reports like this. And the reason is because we provide the following features, right? So we give you marketing materials every single month as part of our club. You'll see we provide blog posts. We give you everything that you need to do to implement those 5 steps of that marketing calendar. So you get blog posts, you get the emails, there's social media posts. We even give you scripts and marketing and ad templates. People say great things about the marketing. There's an example with Teresa saying that she loved a campaign that we had sent out not too long ago. Within 20 minutes of sending it out, had received the listing employment request. We love getting reports like that, by the way. So if any of you guys are members and you like the marketing materials that we provide, please just give us a little thumbs up in there, or just say that you like the stuff that we give you guys to be able to use for marketing. We would appreciate that. We also give you a marketing website. It's a personally branded marketing website that always looks good online. So yes, this includes a website. And we will post the article, we'll post the blog on your website for you every single month. It's auto-posted, so you don't have to worry about dealing with it. Every month related to the marketing calendar campaigns, we'll post that article for you. You can also market listings using our property landing pages, and there's a bunch of lead generation templates that you can use. Our club also has training every single month, twice a month. We'll get into listings and marketing and social media and tools and productivity, as well as a whole resource library with listing templates, buyer templates, and additional marketing templates. And so to get all of this stuff individually, you would probably be looking to spend like hundreds of dollars a month to be able to get all that stuff. But today you can get it for actually, it's normally $67 a month. Oh, by the way, when you try it today, we have a special bonus gift, which is that property marketing plan template. It's the same one that I shared with you earlier that we use as part of our pre-listing packet. So here it's all of this. This will be a gift. You just download it. It's a bonus gift just for trying our club for 14 days for $1. And one of the things I forgot to mention, so after 14 days, and I want to make sure I emphasize this, after 14 days, your trial will turn into an active membership, but you can cancel at any time. I'm going to park it here for a second and emphasize this. I don't want anyone to say, you tricked me into becoming a member. I'm telling you, it's 14 days for $1. After that, you become a member at $67 a month. But on day 14, if you cancel, you won't be charged. And the great thing is you can cancel at any time in the future. It's not like there's a contract that you have to be in it for any length of time. It's $67 a month after the trial, and you can cancel at any time. And so you can access the trial. You can get the 14 days for just $1 and get those marketing calendar campaigns by clicking on that little pop-up thing that came out with Paperless Agent Marketing Club trial for only 14 days. And not only will you get all the marketing materials, but you'll also get that property marketing plan. And with that, I'm going to kick it back to Gary, see if there's anything we got to talk about before we get into the Q&A.
Well, my audio went out on me, Chris. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Oh, that's fantastic. I'm glad I'm back. We do have a lot of questions around the membership. So I'm just going to run through these with you really quickly, Chris. Number one is, as a reminder, how much is the club after the 14 days? It's $67 a month. There's no contract. There's no commitment. You can cancel at any time that you like. Next question is, Anna says, does your marketing materials work for Canadians?
Yes, they do. In fact, whenever we do a topic that's kind of uses a lot of U.S. references, we'll create a second version for our Canadian members.
Yep. Let's see. Beth Ann says, during the 14 days, can we also get access to the pre-listing info that you shared?
Yes, absolutely. You'll have access to the entire membership, which includes all of the training. We've done like a full training on pre-listing packets. I think it was recently. You'll just have to go to the training library and search for pre-listing packet. All the stuff is in there.
Let's see. Maria says, will this work for those of us who are part of a franchise? I think most people are part of a franchise, or at least a good deal. So absolutely, Maria. Yeah. Here's the thing. The marketing materials you can edit and brand to yourself. It's not branded Paperless Agent. It's not white label. You get to brand it to yourself. So it doesn't matter if you're a member of a franchise, if you're a broker, or if you are a member of a small brokerage. It doesn't really matter. Let's see here, Chris. Connie said, what about teams? So Connie, I think it really matters, like when you say teams, what does that mean? I mean, is it a husband-wife team? Are you the lead agent and you have like 20 agents on your team? If it's a husband and wife partnership, you just need one membership. But if you have a larger team, then you're going to want, each member is going to want to have their own. Let's see.
I see Reno is asking about the website. The website is included, but to keep the website, you got to be a member. I mean, you'll get it free for that 14-day period. But if you set it up, I'm sure you'll probably want to keep it at that point. And that is included with the membership. And in fact, I'm going to pull a few things up, Gary, as you're asking questions. I'm going to remove that screen, and I'm going to instead do a little screen share action, if that's okay.
Okay, yeah, as you do that, we do have a lot of existing members here with us, and Scott Rose and others have asked, if I've already joined the club, can I get that property marketing plan template?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. You just log in like this. How do they search, Chris? You want to show people how to search for the property marketing plan?
Yeah, you can go in here and just hit the search, I think is how you would do that. But I wanted to hit on a few different things. First, because people were asking about the website. People want to know what the website looks like. The website looks like this. It's streamlined. It's branded to you. You can market listings with property landing pages here. So you can, and if you have your own, this is not meant to replace your existing website, by the way. This is just meant to complement the one that you have and allow you to implement the marketing material. So here's the article that we did, and you'll see that they're not light. Like this is valuable information. When we say we want to share valuable information, this is a full, professionally written, professionally designed article, as well as all the other marketing that you get. And so that is the website. In here, to get the marketing materials, you just go. This is, by the way, this is the member website portal. In here, you'll come in and you'll be able to download and review the marketing campaign materials right here. We make sure, because a lot of people are not really familiar with, a lot of our new members who are new are not familiar with using some of these tools and some of these online marketing strategies. So we have lots of training and instructions and, copy and paste. So here's your Facebook post. You just get the image, drop that on Facebook, and literally copy and paste the copy right out of here and drop it into your Facebook post, right? And so whether it's Facebook, we provide you with the video talking points, so that if you're not sure what to say on a video, doing that 1 to 3 minute video, you've got talking points. There's a phone script if you want to go old school and pick up the phone and call. There's a PDF version of the information if you don't want to deal with a website and you just want to share a PDF report. There's Instagram posts, there's Pinterest posts, there's LinkedIn articles and posts, and then of course full instruction on exactly how to do all of these things if you're just getting started with using some of these strategies. And then from a training standpoint, for those of you who are like, hey, I'd like to brush up on some of my skills, you just come into the training library. We've got tons of things that we've done, whether it's about property marketing plans, whether it's about pre-listing packets. Some of our recent topics have been dealing with the current situation. So here's one that we did recently on virtual home showings and the online open houses. We actually had one just yesterday on the Slingshot social media strategy, which will be posted here on Monday. Lots of different topics. There's like hundreds and hundreds of things that we've gotten here for you to choose from to be able to brush up on your skills, whatever they may be, right? It doesn't have to just be marketing. It might be using, mobile devices. You might want to brush up on just using tech again, right? And so we've got lots of support there for you in there.
Awesome. So my gosh, I think you answered just a lot of questions there, but while you were doing that, it prompted a lot more.
Okay.
Ronald Gorman. Ronald Gorman is a current member. Ronald's been a member of the club for a great number of years. He has a great question. When making changes on the marketing material, what program allows the changes to be made the easiest?
Well, it depends on which marketing materials you're working with. So website, obviously, you just go into the website portal and you can make the change there because it's just using WordPress. Now, we provide like the report, right? I think I had shown you guys real briefly. Let me pull it back up. It's easier for me to kind of show and tell this as opposed to just trying to describe it without knowing what I'm talking about. So let me go to, and by the way, you get all the past ones that we've ever done, right? So it's not just the current month. There's a bunch of evergreen ones. And then there's all of our historical campaigns from the archives. If let's say you're on a real shoestring budget right now and you're like, hey, I want to do that trial and I just want to download a bunch of campaigns, go for it. I want you do what you need to do right now so you can start, preparing for that recovery and maybe even activating some of that right now by using these strategies. And our hope is that you'll want to come back and stay a member. So anyway, what was I going to do? Oh, I was going to show Ron how to customize some of the stuff. So the marketing materials, like the email, right? So that is going to come, you can literally just copy and paste it here. So you can just drop that into whatever whatever editor that you use or whatever email tool that you're going to use and just edit it right out of there. For the Facebook posts, if you want to change these images, you could take these images and drop them into Canva. It's a little bit harder to change this, but you could take it into Canva and put like your own picture on it. That might be a way to enhance this, is to put your own branding on the image, and that's fine. That's good. Put your face on there, and Canva would be a way to do that. So it would be, you could use like PowerPoint to accomplish that, Keynote if you're a Mac user. We do provide this report every month. And the report is a PDF report. I think it's going to force me to download it here. There it is. So the report is a way, if you don't want to deal with a website and you don't want to deal with like all that, what you can do is we provide it in Keynote and PowerPoint. And I think I'll open it up in Keynote so you can see not only what the report looks like, but also how you would customize it. And it makes it really easy. So this is the report. We provide the report because a lot of times you want to have like a cool call to action, like, hey, in your social media post, for example, you might say, hey, for a more full version of this report, I've got a special report that I've produced. Just message me or DM me and I'll be happy to send this to you. And you could send this to them. But you'll notice that this is in Keynote. So you can come in here and you can personally brand it to yourself. So there's where you would add your headshot and your logo. You can come in here and add your name, your company, your phone, and email. And this is in Keynote, but you can also do it in PowerPoint as well. Some of the other tools that I like to use for editing are things like Canva, which is free. So Canva is a great tool for doing editing. And then for doing video editing, one of the things that I like to use is Lumen 5. Lumen 5 is a pretty cool tool. It is a paid program, though. It's like $30 a month or something like that. So hopefully that answers the question.
Yeah, I think you answered a lot of questions.
Oh, by the way, there's a calendar for those of you who are like need a little bit more organization. There's a whole calendar of like what to do and when to do it, so that you're not like, what am I supposed to do? It's just follow the instructions. Add links to the database. Share on social media.
2 days ago, Chris, on Cinco de Mayo, there's nowhere in there that said make a margarita. I like that. I think we missed there on serving our members. I've got a lot of questions about generating leads, because we talked a lot about, one of the top thing that everybody here wanted to learn from us today, Chris, is how do I generate more prospective seller leads?
Yes.
And we talked a lot about that through the marketing. And Isabel just wants to confirm, is this valuable and focused to get prospective sellers? And it's both, actually, sellers and buyers. But man, what we've been talking about today, Isabel, is how do we stand out and generate more seller leads? So when that boomerang or the slingshot effect of us coming out of the current situation happens, well, all of a sudden we're prepared by using this 5-step marketing system that Chris went through. And by the way, everything Chris just shared with you of how you download all that stuff, you can implement that today. Like, you sign up today for $1, you can download that stuff and start implementing it right now. So that's what I would do. That's what I would recommend.
Yeah, I just was going to share a point about marketing to generate opportunities. There's a lot of ways to accomplish this, and there's no one right way to do it. There's unfortunately a lot of wrong ways to do it, and there's no one right way to do this as well. And what I have found, and Gary and I have been doing real estate for a long time. Gary's been selling real estate for over 20 years. I've been marketing real estate for over 20 years. Yes, 21 years for me. Gary's like 20, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. 23 years.
Half of my life, Chris. Half of my life I've been in this industry.
So here's the thing, and here's what we've learned, is that there are easier and harder ways to generate leads, and then there's different qualities of leads, right? So this system that we've put together, it's very inexpensive. There's a little bit of work involved, right? But the trade-off for the little bit of work that you do, and I did see somebody ask, how long does it take to do this? First time, probably 2 or 3 hours a month. Once you get used to it, probably 90 minutes a month is on average about what it takes. Really just depends on how much of that personal touch that you do and which tools that you use for that personal touch. But we do the blog, we write the email, you shoot the video and promote it. We give you the social media posts, right? So all of the hard part of content for your marketing is being done for you, and we're providing it to you on a consistent basis. So it eliminates the grinding part of it, makes it a lot easier to accomplish. But when we take all of these steps, and it's important that we acknowledge and recognize that this is a sequence of tactics directed at a real source of business. The largest single source of business in real estate comes from our contacts, comes from our connections, because our contacts and connections produce recommendations, referrals, business from our sphere, people who know us or people who know the people that know us, repeat customers, and increased reputation in our local markets. It all happens through our contacts and connections. And when we design our strategy to apply these online tactics towards that source, that's how we get the result. Now, here's oftentimes what happens is we might use an email or social media. It's just not directed at anything, and it's not being done as part of a sequence. When we do this, what we'll find is we get recognized because it's all based around the value that we're providing. It's always real estate related. So we're going to produce real estate conversations as a result of this consistent marketing that we're sharing, as well as the individual outreach that's important to do. It is a strategy. Each tactic or each step in the strategy is important to complete to get the result. But when you'll do it, you're going to find that you will have a surplus of opportunities. For us, it is 90. I mean, it keeps going higher and higher because time and time again, this is always the best type of customer to work with, right? It is the easiest customer, the most fun customer, the most enjoyable customer to work with are the ones that we create from here. Now, I pay for a lot of leads and have paid for a lot of leads over the year, and so has Gary. And being a marketing guy, I'm always interested in paying for more. And I always find that I'm unhappy with the quality of lead that we produce when I go buy them from one of the portals, for example, right? Or when I just do straight traffic, to Google or Facebook ads. Can it be accomplished? Yes. But are they harder to deal with? Yes. This is so much easier to focus on because it's way easier to get somebody who already kind of knows you to trust you a little bit more, to recommend you or work with you. And when we will focus on just growing the number of contacts and connections that we serve, if you know a couple hundred people, you're going to know 20, 30, 40 people that are moving every single year. And how many of those people are we serving? Probably not enough, right? Probably.
That's always the answer, Chris. It's always not enough.
So if we will just apply a strategy, I think you're going to find that good things are going to happen for you every time and by the way, we're just like you guys. We get busy. Gary and I will get busy. We might skip this. Gary and I have gone months. We've actually neglected our own strategy for months. And I'll be like, Gary, you've been doing this? And no. And then we'll restart it back up. And always great things happens once we restart it and kickstart it back into place. And so that's what we want to have for you. And I wanted to emphasize that's why it works, right? A lot of things that we've tried don't work. The crazy thing is we all have opinions on what works, and we never think our opinions are wrong. Right? Like no one has an opinion that they're like, this opinion is a wrong opinion and I hold it. No, we all think that the things that we're doing and trying are right opinions on what's going to happen. And we are oftentimes proven wrong. But while we're believing in that opinion, like, hey, I should do social media and do this, that, and the other. I should do Facebook ads and do this, that, and the other. A lot of times we find out that those opinions were wrong and we pay the price. This strategy, when you will use it, works. This strategy, when you will use it, all 5 parts of it works if you follow the steps.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a member and she was struggling because her business had plateaued, and she's like, I can't get to the next level. What do I need to do first? And I said, well, I just asked her a few questions. I said, number one, I just want to make sure that you're sending out the MVP and following Chris's 5-step plan every single month, and I was expecting to hear yes. And then I was going to be like, okay, now we got to think about, what are we going to do next? And she's like, no. I said, whoa. This is fundamental to being a real estate agent who has a thriving, successful, sustainable business. I said, here's what I need you to do. Go implement that now and call me in 3 months. And so she did. And at the time, she was plateaued around 3 million. Within 3 months, her pipeline filled up to $18 million just because she followed the plan. Now, are these results typical? No. But can it change your business? Absolutely. And I've seen it happen countless times.
Well, here's what I was going to say, doing the things that we've shared with you guys in terms of being present, providing value, connecting with people, showing people that you care. It is very important right now to be acting on this very quickly, right? And be doing as much as you can to implement this strategy now, right? So most of the respected economists and most of the sources of economic forecasts and predictions are saying that we're going to see a surge in home sales in the U.S., see a surge in home sales in Q3, Q4, or Q1 of next year, right? Which means that when they say see a surge in home sales, they're saying closed homes. They're not saying, hey, these are homes that are going to be going under contract. That means as early as Q2, at the end of Q2, these homes are going under contract. Here's what that tells us. It tells us that those decisions are being made right now. It doesn't matter if you're in a shelter in place. Doesn't matter. Those people are thinking about it and they are considering it. And by the time Q3, if you're a hope, is that, you know what, I'm just going to hang tight to Q3 and Q4 and then start reaching out to people and then start marketing, you've missed the boat of opportunity to be able to get that, all of those folks working with you. And we can't predict the future. We don't know exactly when things are going to open up for us, but here's what I will share with you. Like, not all markets are the same, but you're starting to see a lot of markets, even with the market, even with all the things that have gone on, real estate did not come to a standstill. There were still a lot of homes that sold, right? Now, were there less homes that sold? Yeah, but there were still an awful lot of homes that sold. And you'd be surprised. Like, I was digging around in the MLS and I was asking myself, man, why are these like, why are this segment of homes? They're not even, like, technically Austin's in a shelter in place. These homes are coming onto the market and going under contract within like 2-3 days. It's crazy. And so Gary and I were talking about it, and it's because the demographics are right. The demographics for buying homes are right now, meaning that the demographics for, and it has a lot of it has to do with millennials finally coming out of the, coming into the home market. And this was likely the thing for many of them that said, you know what, I've been kind of thinking about it. I've been kind of sitting on the fence. I'm getting out of my apartment. I'm not going to do.
I think that's absolutely, man. Being locked down in an apartment, this is going to trigger so many new, like, first-time home buyer sales. I'm excited to see what happens coming out of this. Deanna said,
the market now. The market, that your outreach and you're providing value, and the marketing that you do, that's got to happen now for the opportunity to be there later.
Last thing we want for you guys is for you to come to the end of 2020 and say, why did all these other people get these sales? And you missed the boat because you're not doing this now. Deanna said, did I hear you say that you do not provide a personalized website? Deanna, you do. You get a website that you go in and you personalize yourself. You put your photo, your name, and all that stuff. You put your listings in there. You absolutely do get that. Somebody else, let's see. Michael said, what is the MVP? So I said that, and I realized that you didn't call it the MVP during the training today, but the MVP is that 5-step process, that 5-step marketing process that Chris spent, 30 minutes talking about today.
Yeah. We have different vernacular for it. So real estate marketing system, marketing calendar, monthly value program, or MVP, are all different things that we use to describe the same marketing process. One of these days we'll get our act together and come up with one name for it all, but
maybe we'll create a challenge for everybody to create a name for it. TP said, once you're a member, do you get access to all the material you went over today? Yeah, you get it today, TP.
You get it today as a try. You get it today to try it
for $1.
Yep.
For $1. Sasha said, can these tools be used for expired listings and prospecting foreclosures or short sales? Use it to market to everybody that you know. You can even, here's the thing, you can use these materials and start marketing to a geographic farm if you want. That's a great idea. If you're already at a point to where, let me state this. Once you get in a consistent pattern of marketing to everybody in your base who already knows you, once you're consistently doing that without fail, only then do you start moving outside of that. Because as Chris said, a great number, I think 67 or 68% of home buyers and home sellers are hiring an agent from who they already know. And the thing is that in our firm, it's over 87% of our clients are people that are already in our base. And so we want to make sure that we nail that first. Don't try it a couple of times and say, well, that didn't work, I'm gonna go do expireds or whatever. No. Let's focus on the people that you know.
Here's the thing. The reason why we put the strategy together, right, which is the series of tactics, is when you'll focus on a source, and the largest source, it's much easier to go after the largest source of business than after one of the smaller slices. I like to go fishing, but I'm not that good at fishing. But I do read the reports so that I can go fish and use the bait that where all the fish are. If I read that there's a lot of flounder, and then I know I need to use bait for flounder because they're biting on the shrimp or whatever. If I read that there's no sea trout or whatever, the rainbow trout out there, and I go trying to fish for a rainbow trout, it's going to be really hard for me to catch that rainbow trout. Much easier to go where there's plenty fish in the sea. And because of the volume of opportunity comes through contacts and connections being as high as what it is, it just means that it's easier to find those opportunities. I would do that and really work on that long before I would explore doing something like expireds. In fact,
Yep.
I would say before I would even move to expireds, this is the strategy that many of our members pursue, which is once they get, this whole 5-step process in place and they're marketing to their contacts and connections and they're seeing the benefit of doing that, the actual next logical place is to zero in on a few farm areas. Now, that means you will likely do expireds in those farm areas, but really zeroing in on a couple of neighborhoods where you can have an active presence, right? Where you can really concentrate your marketing, where you can really concentrate on providing value, where you can host open houses and have like your signs all over the place. We usually find that that's the next step. And like I said, there will be a little bit of maybe some expired and FSBOs in there. By the way, a good way to connect with expireds and FSBOs is provide that property marketing plan to them. Give them the property marketing plan, print that out, deliver it to them, let them know. And anyway, but do that in a concentrated area. Don't do it all over the market. Do it in concentrated areas. And I think, that coupled with open houses as well as some farming activity, that good things will happen. But only do that after you've focused on your contacts and connections. Most of you could probably spend the next year just doing that and getting good results from it before you moved on.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, here's the thing. My brother, who's our partner, his solo production this past year in 2019, just his stuff, he sold $29 million in real estate in Austin. He did 0 open houses, 0 expireds, 0 farming. This is all from his network, all from his base. And so he doesn't have to do anything else. He just has a huge thriving business because of that base. Pam Denson says, I do not have a blog. Will you show me how to set that up? Chris, you want to tackle that one?
Yeah, we should do. Let me just share my screen here real quick, Gary, because sometimes that's the easier way to do it. But yeah, and if you get stuck, we have a support team here. So if you get stuck, no need to fear. Just email support@thepaperless agent and help is near. Did you get that? That rhymed, Gary.
I was right there with you, Chris.
So anyway, go to the website. And when you go into the member site, just click on website and you'll see that there is an access your marketing website. You just click through there. Mine's already set up, so it's not going to show you the prompts that it does, but it's like 5 steps. If you get stuck, like I said, email us. There's lots of help, how-to articles. There's even this section thing right here, how to set up your marketing website. So if you click on there, there's step-by-step instructions on what to do. And if you get stuck, you can always email us at support@thepaperlessagent.com. But these are the actual 5 steps to set it up. And that's what it'll look like.
All right. Bill just said, I want to join, but I can't see the link. Bill, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop up this offer. By the way, if you've already joined, when this offer pops up, there's a little X in the top right corner of that offer that you can close that out. If you haven't joined, go over there, I think, and click on that blue button that says sign up now. And like Chris said earlier, you get this property marketing plan template as a bonus when you join today. And when you join today, you get access to the entire marketing club, everything that we talked about today, and you get the website and you get access to our private Facebook group, which is an incredible community of realtors across North America who are, I mean, especially right now, it's like, I mean, who doesn't need like outreach to other people? Who doesn't need outreach to like-minded realtors saying, hey, I'm struggling with this, or hey, I have this idea. What do you think about this? Or hey, I just shot this video. Can you give me some constructive feedback? I mean, this community is there for you, and you get access to that when you join today for just $1. So go click on that button and join us, and I'll get to the next question.
I got 3 that I'm going to hit on real quick. Becky says, how much is it monthly? I came in late. I was on a call. Becky, after the trial, after the $1 trial for 14 days, it's $67 a month, but you can cancel at any time. I think, was it Alex who was saying that, hey, my database, like Kathy, my database is it's smaller. And so that's, first off, you'd be surprised what you can do with even a small database. The other thing is you'll be surprised at how big your database really is. A lot of times people think of their database as just past clients and things of that nature. It's not. It's everybody that knows you, and it's everybody that you know. And so that unless you've recently moved to a brand new area, given that. Even then, you have all your historical folks that you know. But for most of you, you know way more people than you give yourself credit for. You know, contacts and connections, it's people that you have email addresses for, phone numbers for, people that you're connected to on social media. And so it is way easier, in fact, to grow the number of people that your contacts and connections, that people that know you. It's way easier to just grow that pool of people and just focus on providing them value than trying to do the other ways and the other routes. And so before you discount the fact, and by the way, you don't need to know thousands of people. Maybe you know 50 people right now. 50 people is a good place to start. In fact, you're going to find that the top source of recommendations, the top source of referrals, the top source of word of mouth and brand advocacy, or, you know, sort of building up our reputation, likely is going to come from just a handful of people who really like what you do and they really like you. And so that's if we will cultivate that, you'll be fine. You'll be okay. And let's see here. I think there was one more question. No, that was the only question. It was those two.
Okay. Let me pull up, because I just found one. Margaret says, I joined earlier in this session, but I have not received any email or text acknowledging it. Is that something I should expect to receive? So here's what happened is, when you signed up today, you created a password to be able to log in. So all you need to do is go to thepaperlessagent.com, click on login, and use the email address and that password that you created, and you'll log in and you'll be all set. So that's how you do that, Margaret. And then Maggie said, if I already have a website with IDX running, do I need another website that you're talking about?
No, you don't. You can easily, we give you the articles that you can use to post on your own website. So that's a perfectly good option. The reason why we offer a website is we found most of our members didn't have one that they could use. So it's really, and it's not meant to replace the one that you have. It's complementary. It's very low maintenance. You set it up once, you don't have to do anything. It's just one more potential search result when somebody's searching for you, which is not a bad thing. But you don't need to feel like you have to set it up. It's just something we added because most of our members, when we were training on these strategies, said, we don't have a website. Which website provider should you use? You know, and what we found is that for most of what most people needed was not like a full IDX website. They just needed something to implement these campaigns, and that was fine. So it is not meant to replace it, and that's okay. Another question that popped up was, what email service do we recommend? I think MailChimp is great. There's also an email tool in our system called the Marketing Suite, which you can also utilize, but I think MailChimp is a better solution even than the one we provide. So I would definitely check out MailChimp. And I think there's some free options there for MailChimp for you to use. I was going to show people, right here is where you create your password.
Yeah, I think it was Margaret who had asked that. And yeah, so when you create your password, that is the password you're creating for your membership. And so, Chris, can you just go to thepaperlessagent.com and show them where to log in? Because as you do this, and make sure that you use the email address that you used when you signed up for this. Yeah, there it is right there. Bam, log in.
Oh, I'm already.
Well, you're already logged in, but you log in and then you'll be set. All right.
I was going to say there you should get an email confirmation. Check your spam folder, check your promotions tab. You should have an email confirmation, just so you know. The other thing is when you've successfully completed this form, it should automatically log you into the website. The first thing that'll happen is you'll be automatically logged in. Now, if none of those things happened, email us at support@thepaperlessagent.com. They'll get you taken care of.
Cool. All right. Next question. Let's see here. Oh, Ronald Gorman has a comment. When using a template with a footer and header that is multi-page, shouldn't you be able to personalize the first page and have the following pages changed immediately? I'm using a Mac. Yeah, if you're using like Microsoft Word or Pages and you customize the header and the footer, and that's where you want your branding, it will actually, you can have it set to where it'll populate that on every single one of those pages, Ronald. Next question is from Renee. And I wanted to address this, Chris, because we had a lot of new agents on this. She said, I'm a brand new salesperson without leads. Will this benefit me? I'm struggling with marketing. Ooh, I think that this is like, why don't you want to talk about the system there, Chris?
So
there you go.
I wanted to let you know that you're not the only one who's new, and you're not the only one who's new who's worked with us or used our strategies to have success. I share this in the very beginning because that's a common thing people will say is, I'm new, I don't have a network, I don't have this. And in two cases, and both of these one was a screenshot from one of these webcasts that we did with Cynthia. The next one was from Lisa. And what you'll find is that as a new agent, you need to do something and you're not sure what to do. And likely, you'll try a lot of things because you'll look around and you'll see, oh, this person has a website. Oh, this person's doing social media. No, this person's doing expireds, and this person's cold calling people, and this person's doing this. And usually what ends up happening is, as anybody new in a field, is you start to piece together what you're going to do based on the experience and your observations of what other people are doing. And usually the things that we are doing, we hold the opinion that it's going to work. We rarely hold the opinion that we're wrong with our opinions, right? So we're going to do what we do. And then of course we struggle because that's not actually the way things work. There's a reality to generating leads. There's a reality to selling real estate. And we got to really work and conform to the reality. The reality is, if you want to be successful, you need a good strategy that's going to work regardless of where you're at. And this is a strategy that's going to work. If you need to generate leads, this is a strategy that's going to work because it's built on timeless principles, applying the new tactics that we have available us today, but using the timeless principles of marketing and sales and building relationships and building connections and staying in touch and providing value to people, right? Showing people that you care, building a reputation, creating awareness so that when people think of you, they think of real estate. When they think of real estate, they think of you. These are all timeless things. And we're just using the tools that work right now. Now, as a new agent, what you're probably going to have to do is you've got to sit down and say, who are my contacts and connections? You don't even need a CRM to do that. You just need a piece of paper or a spreadsheet or whatever to write those things down. Pull up Facebook, pull up social media, pull up your inbox, pull up your text messages, write down everybody that you know that you've had some kind of interaction with, and start with those folks. See, the great value in doing this is that you're providing value. You're not asking for business. You're not telling people that you need business. You're not telling them that you'd like their referrals or recommendations. You're just focused on providing value. And by providing value, here's what happens. You demonstrate and show people your value proposition. A value proposition that's just built on trust is actually a very, very good value proposition. If they trust you more than somebody else, that's all you need to win the opportunity. And so it's not like you have to have tremendous experience. It's not like you have to have this tremendous competitive advantage. They just need to trust you more than the other person. Now, how do you build trust? By doing this system, by providing value on a consistent basis. And so if you will do that and just focus on growing the number of contacts and connections, you'll have success.
That's it. I mean, that's the whole focus. And I think somebody else was in here talking about, especially right now, we just need to take care of our people, be there for them. And being there for them means those different 5 things that is just be present for people, offer them value. And this is exactly how you do it.
Yeah, it reminds me of, I was one of our members, Randy Lewis, out of Phoenix, Arizona area, was sharing that he's been just reaching out to people during this time. And he's the one who said, look, be present, show people that you care, focus on providing value. Because if there's a real estate conversation to be had, they'll bring it up. You don't have to worry about doing that. You just need to you are the value. Ultimately, when it comes down to it, you are the value. These are just tools to make it easier to demonstrate that value. But ultimately, what it comes down to is you're the value, the relationship and the trust that you represent to that individual or to those individuals, and increasing that is the value that we're trying to create. So, yes.
All right, Peyton Moore. Hey, Peyton, I haven't seen you in a blue moon. Said, hey guys, I just joined again. Welcome back, Peyton. So excited to rebrand my real estate business and start working with clients again. Well, welcome back. So delighted that you're back with us. By the way, Chris, I have a question for everybody here. Mm-hmm. And that is, for everybody here who is already a member, what is your favorite part of the Paperless Agent Marketing Club? What's your favorite part of membership? And don't tell me
what my favorite part is, Gary?
What's that?
You want to know what my favorite part of it is?
Being able to sit here and talk to me.
I was going to say being able to sit here and make fun of you. I like to, bust you up a little bit. That's like my favorite part. We get on these things. I get to make fun of Gary. I go home. I have a good day.
All right. Let's see. Jose says, do you ever include the listing agreement in the pre-listing package? Jose, I have historically done that in an effort to accelerate the process of getting them to sign. And what I found is that it felt presumptuous. It's like, hey, here's all my marketing material. By the way, here's the agreement that you're going to sign when we meet. And I didn't like that. Plus, I don't want them going through the listing agreement with a fine-tooth comb and coming to the appointment in a bad mood, because sometimes those listing agreements, they if they're not explained appropriately, it's not going to make them feel good. And I want them to have nice warm fuzzies when I walk in the door. So I've tried it in the past, didn't work out well, so I stopped.
I wouldn't do that. Gary, that's like asking someone to sign on the dotted line without having an opportunity to really communicate your value proposition, what it is, why they should hire you instead of somebody else. And the truth be told, because we provide a service, a professional service, and we're going to render that service, or a big chunk of it, is that we need to be the one, like they're hiring us. It's almost like going on a job interview. They're hiring us. And to sign the agreement before they've sat down and talked with us means that we haven't really been able to demonstrate the full value that we bring to the table. We haven't been able to build that affinity and connection and trust with them until we've had a chance to really sit down and have the conversation, go through that listing appointment process, and then review the paperwork or review the agreement together so that you can read whether or not they're going to have any questions or issues. Now, you might have to do that online today. Like you might have to do a virtual listing appointment. Use a tool like Zoom. Use something where you can see them as you're talking through this. You can start to see where you need to slow down, stop, and address an issue, because you just throw that agreement out there and sign the dotted line. What's a common thing they're going to do is they're going to go down and look at the price of like what they're going to pay us, right? They're going to do things like that where before we've had a chance to communicate or show them the value that we're going to bring to the table.
Right. Yeah. And then on a follow-up, Michelle said, and what about the seller's disclosures? When do they go to the seller? I send the seller's disclosures after they sign the listing agreement. So, I'll go back to the office, follow up with an email, make sure that they get a copy of the listing agreement, make sure that they get a copy of the seller's disclosures to fill out. So that's when I'm doing that, is that, I don't want to overwhelm them before we meet, because again, seller's disclosures. I mean, who wants to sit there and stare at these seller's disclosures before they meet with us? It's just going to put them in a bad mood. And that's not what I want. Anna says, do you guys have a Facebook group where we can ask questions or get some great info? Chris, you want to pull that up?
Sure.
Yes, Anna, we have a private Facebook group that you must be a member of the club in order to get into. And she also says, I'm new in the field and learning during a crisis. Yes. So yeah, we have a great private Facebook group. One thing, Chris, you touched on is the virtual listing appointment. And by the way, we have training. We did this training immediately when everything happened. We have training of how to do virtual listing appointment, how to communicate with your clients, how to do virtual showings. So all of that training is in there and available to you when you become a member as well. Yeah, so there's the private Facebook group. I don't even know how many members we have in there. It's over 10,000 now, I believe.
Yeah, we never, here's one of the good things. You become a member, and when you join this, we don't kick you out.
Yep. Unless you misbehave, just,
unless you misbehave, yeah.
Be awesome. And
if you're naughty, you might get kicked out of there. You could even be a member and be real naughty and then get kicked out of there too, but
real naughty
those people are good.
All right, let's see. Next question we have here. Joe Farley said, do you post the 1-minute video on your personal or business Facebook page? First question. And then follow up, do you use an email program like MailChimp? Oh, asked and answered. But do you post the 1-minute video on your personal or business page, Chris? You want to talk about the process to go through?
So I'll post it first onto our business page and then share it onto our personal pages. right? So I'll post first to the business page and then share it from the business page onto our personal profile.
All right.
And then boost it if
Boost
you're
it.
so inclined.
Yeah.
Promote it for
Boost
$1 a
it
day.
and how much? $1 a day, right?
$1 a day for, until the next one comes around. So $1 a day for 30 days.
Yep. I mean, you can get absolutely fantastic things out of that. Connie Martin said, my husband is the member and we're a team. I'm his partner. Can I join the Facebook group? Absolutely. So yes, go in there. And when you request to join the Facebook group, it's going to ask you, are you a member? So just say yes. And then it's going to ask what email address was used to sign up. So Connie, you would want to use your husband's email address. Say, this is my husband's email address. And then it has terms and conditions and it says, do you agree to abide by these and not be naughty? And just say yes. And
and if you have run into a problem, because that we have they have like some rules they're supposed to follow. If for some reason you don't get in, just email support and be like, hey, I was talking to Gary and he said that because my husband's the member that I was okay if I join the private Facebook group, and we'll get that worked out for you.
Yeah. For sure. That I just had another question. Okay. Is the virtual listing club? I'm sorry, virtual listing club. I think, Jonathan, you must be talking about the virtual listing training, maybe, and this marketing campaign, all part of the same package. $67 a month covers both. Absolutely. Yeah. So when you join for $1 for the 14 days, and then you convert into $67, you get access to all of our training that we've hosted historically. I mean, we have a huge training library, and you can go in there and just search for whatever topic that you need to learn about, and we have training for it. So yes, Jonathan, you get that, and it's $67 a month. By the way, you're grandfathered or grandmothered in. So if the price ever does change in the future, you'll be set at $67 a month. So you'll be all set there. Let's see. Leah said, if we have questions, how accessible is your support team? Very. Thursdays are more difficult for us because we're hosting very large public trainings. And, I think there were, about 800 people on this today. And so they're probably being bombarded with questions right now at support@thepaperlessagent.com. Most other days, they'll get back to you pretty quickly. All right. Question, Chris. From Damian Cox, what is the frequency of the different elements of the marketing system? You had that calendar pulled up.
Well, you know what? Let me go back to it.
Okay.
It is, all right. So the marketing system here is, you'll notice that for the articles that we do the article or the blog once a month. Okay. And then for the email that we send out, that's a synthesis of that with a link to the article. We do that once a month. The 1 minute video you can also do once a month. You could do this more than once if you wanted to, but at least once a month. Social media, you'll do that weekly. And then messaging, you probably can't hit all, as you have more and more contacts and connections, you probably can't do all of those in the month. So maybe split that up and say every other month I'm going to hit the database, right? In terms of the individual contact. Now, if you haven't reached out to anybody in a month or two, I would reach out to everybody as quickly as you can. Maybe carve out just a week to just dedicate to reaching out to people right now, and just checking in with people. You don't have to say, "Did you get my stuff? Did you get the marketing?" Just say, "Hey, I wanted to check in with you. How are you?" Right? That's all you got to do.
Yes. Next question we have is from Diana. Is there an IABS available for the website? So information about brokerage services, which we're required to have on our website. Yes, you can take your IABS and have it. How do they do that, Chris? I can't remember. Do they have it as a link or?
Yeah, you know what?
In the setup of the website training, it teaches you how to go in there and link to or upload your IABS. So yeah, you can absolutely do that. We know that everybody's required to do that.
Here it is, right here.
Oh, there it is. Click here for IABS information.
Oh, mine's not linked. This is my demo site, so it's not my one that I normally use. So, but you can add it here, and right now I had it linking to a Google file. I don't know what the heck happened to it. So
All right. Jamie says, thanks, guys. I've joined and got to jump off. Awesome. Thanks for joining, Jamie. Can't wait to see you in the private Facebook group and on the trainings. And Alex says, are you frequently doing webinars for your members? Yes, twice a month, first and third Wednesday of every month.
Yeah, we just did one yesterday on the Slingshot social media strategy and social media marketing calendar. So we post it in the private in the members area on the Monday following the training, and so check. And most people watch it after the fact. So we'll send you a communication letting you know that it's been posted on Monday.
All right. Hamid says, so if I choose, I can use my existing website. Absolutely. We give you the blog articles and you can upload them to your own website if you like. So absolutely. Renee says $67. Oh, Canadian. No, Renee, we're based in Austin, Texas. So the $67 is US dollars. And so, whatever that is in Canadian dollars is what that would be. All right. We've got, I don't know, couple more questions here, Chris. Bob Chambers says, what are your thoughts on providing all the special sauce with the seller before even having a commitment from them? Bob, them having a commitment to meet me in person is commitment enough to show them what I'm going to talk about when we meet. So they're making a huge commitment by letting me in their house, either in person or virtually. And so that, to me, that's enough of a commitment. And now it's time for us to actually show them how we're different and how we're going to take care of them and how we're going to commit back to them.
Yeah, it's kind of like with dating and going on a first date. You wouldn't show up all disheveled and put your worst foot forward on that first date. You'd kind of want to, do everything that you can to prepare and do all the stuff, comb your hair, brush your teeth that day, maybe iron your shirt out. Here's the thing. We want to put our best foot forward, which means even leading up to the appointment, right? So their client experience with us happens before we show up. Their client experience with us is likely going to happen online, right? Even if they're going to meet with us, heck, to reach out to us, they've probably searched us online, which means everything that we do prior to that appointment is part of the experience that we produce. And we want it to be good. And how can we make it good? We share that secrets, that special sauce in advance, because we're not afraid of what other people are going to do, because we recognize that this is the value that we have to offer. Other people can try and swipe it and steal it. The fact is, you are the value, and these are the tools to demonstrate and show and communicate that value to your prospective customer.
Absolutely. Well said. Veronica says, are your videos professionally produced? I think it's not always practical if you'd like to address real-time issues via video. Yeah, what equipment tips can you provide? Veronica, we actually have video training. We have awesome video training. We brought our videographer, Jarrett, who's really good. He came into the studio and did some training on how to do that. Oh, here we go. Chris is going to show you exactly where that is, Veronica.
Yeah, let me see if I could go in the training library, and we go into, I think there's a whole category based on video. Let me see. Video, working with YouTube marketing.
What happens if you type video? Oh, there it is.
So we've got virtual showings and online open houses, how to make your next real estate video a blockbuster, level up your real estate video market update. All of these things were so that you could just do this yourself. You know what my favorite video production tool is? This bad boy right here. And you know what my favorite equipment is? This thing here just by itself. You know why? Because it does plenty for most of what we're going to do. Heck, we've been actually making some of the marketing that we use for our listings, and we focus on the luxury market, just me walking around the house talking about it, doing this, right? Like you don't have to get super sophisticated with it. Now we have lots of options and training to take it to many different levels, but to your point, sometimes you just need to get it quick and out there. And if you will just follow some of the practices here using this device, you'll be plenty fine. And so there's actually a ton of resources here related to video. You just go through it and search for it and you'll find it.
Awesome. Oh, by the way, scroll down there, new agent tips. That answers a lot of questions. If you're a brand new agent, there's a whole section there for new agents. Kevin says, Chris, this is about YouTube, and I think I know your answer, but I can't wait to see if I guessed it. How do you have the videos on YouTube without having it public for everyone to see on your YouTube channel? Can the video be private on your channel and the customer still be able to play it on the email you give them?
You have to make it.
Kevin, is why would you keep it private?
Well, it depends. I have some things that are private on there, like, but you don't do private, you do unlisted, right? So what would you do as an unlisted one? Well, right now, some of the video that we film of a listing, like let's say it's a listing that we're just trying to show like the details of the home. It's not been highly produced, but it's someone who's really interested in looking at the home and we're trying to qualify them before we show it. I have that as an unlisted playlist and the videos are marked as unlisted. But so that's your option, is to do it unlisted and still have it as link in the email and send it out there. For those big ones, like how to market your home and stuff like that, that we share in our pre-listing packet, I don't see a reason why you wouldn't want to make those public, but if you have your reasons, just mark it as unlisted.
Cool. All right. And we've been here an hour and 45 minutes. I'm going to get to one more question, Chris, and then we can jet. Tasha says, does your strategy work for buyers?
Yes, it ends up producing buyers as well. It's going to produce customers out of your contacts and connections. And so it's going to produce both buyer and seller customers.
Yeah. And plus, by the way, what's one of the best byproducts of getting listings?
More
is
buyers.
Buyers call you. Buyers will show up. So there you have that. All right. So, Joy has one more question. I have been working with another company that provides monthly social media content. Do you offer that? Yeah, that's part of that 5-step process that Chris was talking about. Is you absolutely get that. So, let's see. Roseanne joined, having an issue, isn't allowing you to sign in. Please email support@thepaperlessagent.com and our team will help you. And with that, Chris, I'm sorry, we're going to have to jet. We're like 16 minutes late. We went up past what we committed, over 16 minutes. But I wanted to say thank you to all of our new members. Thank you to all of our existing members who joined us today. And thank you especially to Chris for producing this awesome webinar for everybody. I hope everybody here learned a whole lot. And if you haven't taken the opportunity to join for just $1 for 14 days, go click on that view offer right now, because we want to make sure that you get you take advantage of that. And I'll make sure that it pops up one more time before we head out. And Chris, any final words for everybody here?
No, I look forward to seeing you guys on our next member training, seeing you in the club, and seeing you in the private Facebook group. Take care.